for this? The pageantry of college football, and it doesn't get much bigger than these two schools. There will be a Big 12 championship game in December. Nebraska right now leading in the North. The winner of the North faces the winner in the South. Texas hopes maybe that will be them. They're going to need a little help. Oklahoma State. Ooh, lots of decisions to be made there. Welcome everybody with David Norrie. I'm Gary Thorne. Great to have you with us here in Austin, Texas, where a young quarterback by the name of Vince Young is going to get his first start at home.
Vince Young, don't think I'm crazy, Gary. I think he's just as talented as Michael Vick when Michael Vick arrived at Virginia Tech. He's a talented pass run threat. He's hitting 58% of his passes. He can throw on the move, but when he really gets gifted is running the football. Over 8 yards to carry against Oklahoma's #1 rated defense. He absolutely slashed through the secondary against that team. This kid is a real star of the future in college football.
He will need it today. Nebraska, long noted for their great defense. Well, they are back. They are one of the best in the nation defensively.
Yeah, the black shirt defense, they have their swagger back. And the name of the game over the years for Nebraska has been turnovers. 32. They lead the country. Great pressure on the quarterback in the pocket. And as a secondary, I think these defensive backs catch the ball as well as any secondary we've seen in the last 10, 15 years. They are a gifted bunch in the secondary. Texas is going to have to take care of the ball today.
A great one-on-one. Jamal Lord, the key, Derek Johnson. They're going to see a lot of each other today. Only the 10th time that these teams have met this season. Nebraska chose to defer after winning the toss. And so Texas takes it over. There is Vince Young. We're going to see a couple of just great quarterbacks in this game.
And since he's taken over the starting reins for the Longhorns, the last 2 games, the Longhorns have picked up 9 touchdowns on a total of 13 drives.
He makes
Vince Young.
And his first start at home, and there's a good and bad in that. Young, who can carry the football up over the 23-yard line, and we get a flag on the very first play. And it is going to be against Texas holding. Principal Financial Group gives us an opportunity to take a look.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Will be first down.
And what we're going to see for Texas as far as the offense is concerned.
Roy Williams, one of the top 4 or 5 receivers in the country. Tremendous speed. He's the big play go-to guy outside.
Benson is going to be their leading carrier in this game coming out of the backfield. It'll be a first down and 20 with the ball spotted back at the 10-yard line. So immediately may have to go to the air. Brett Robin has come in the tailback position. Going to look to the near side in the flats at about the 12-yard line. Not much gain there. Fabian Washington over on the defensive play. Let's take a look at the Texas offensive line. Some veterans, and they've gotten better with each game.
Jonathan Scott watched Chris Sims blindside from the right tackle slot a year ago, moves over to the left side this season, and then Trevor Johnson up front. A very talented defensive end, makes things happen behind the line of scrimmage.
Nebraska defensive line will be asked to hold. Did not want to have any slashing running going on in this game if they can help it, and force the passing game. Young comes in the tailback position, a second down and 16 out of the shotgun. It'll be carried. Going to see a lot of this today. Over the 20, the 25, coming to the 30 and first down territory. Fabian Washington finally able to get to him, but that's what you can expect to see today from both quarterbacks.
Well, let's take a look from behind Vince Young. He has every bit the running talent that Michael Vick had when Michael Vick showed up at Virginia Tech. Watch him make people miss. He's so deceptive. He's a long strider. Gary's 6'6", 225 pounds, and he makes defensive players look slow on the football field.
That's a 17-yard gain and a first down. That is a very big play early in the game for Texas. They'll go with 3 wideouts. Texas has tried to open it up the last couple of weeks. Again, quarterback keeper coming to the near side. Vince Young up over the 40-yard line. He is truly amazing. Daniel Bullocks moved in on the tackle, and these linebackers are going to be busy for that reason today.
Barrett Root, very athletic at the middle linebacker position and very opportunistic, picking up turnovers.
There you see the Nebraska secondary. They have to make some tackles today if this is the way Texas runs the football.
Josh Bullock's tied for the national lead in interceptions, and he will get plenty of first-team All-American consideration.
Brett Robin comes back in the tailback position. Young has earned this quarterback starting role based on just how he has played. He came along a lot faster than anybody anticipated. Williams moves in to make the tackle. Robin on the carry. They'll be in and out. Benson, Robin in that tailback position. Williams came up in a hurry to shut it down.
A lot of people pointing to Vince Young's first start here as a barometer to his play, but he has gotten considerable quality time and gone up against a couple very quality defenses in Kansas State and Oklahoma.
Young is averaging 8.3 yards a carry coming into this game. This will be a 2nd down and 8. More wide receivers used by Texas in their sets last week than at any other game as Young becomes better at passing. Quarterback draw again. Can't find him near first down territory, and the third effort will get him there. He takes it down to about the 45-yard line of Nebraska. Till you see him do this, you can't believe how talented and how young he is.
Well, he just jumped off the tape when you watched him against Oklahoma in the first half, and he's such a great combination of elusiveness and power. I mean, look at him run through defensive linemen to pick up the first down.
Trevor Johnson finally got over there. He's already picked up 39 yards in 3 carries, and clearly Nebraska now is going to have to concentrate on trying to shut him down. And then we may see some of the aerial game. 2 wide receivers to the left side, looking out of that shotgun, straight down the middle, and that's incomplete. 2 defenders very close and almost intercepted. That is Rude, who moved in.
Oh, keep a look down the middle of the field, number 38, Barrett Rude. And he is as good a middle linebacker jumping routes as you'll find in the country, and very unusual for Barrett to drop that football.
They have a +15, number 1 in the nation in turnovers. Their scoring defense 2nd, total defense 3rd, 5th in pass defense. 2nd down and 10 here, the Nebraska 45.
The difference has been their blitz package, and they play a lot of zone defense behind.
Little blitz here from the left side, carried again by Young. Young took only 19 snaps in a couple of games. They try and get him out of there because he's so much like a running back that if you don't rest him, he can get beat up.
Well, he is, and a lot of the Texas fans and people in the community are saying, why don't you run Vince more than you're currently running him? And you know, you talk to Greg Davis, the offensive coordinator for Texas. We want to make sure this kid can play an entire season and can play in the upcoming years. You can't let him take the licks time and time again that a defense is going to dish out.
Passing situation here, 3rd down and 7. Again, they work out of the shotgun. Had a flat open, decided not to go there. Will carry himself again. A lot of room to the 30, and there he goes down of the 29-yard line, a 13-yard gain. The spread formations are opening some holes.
Watch how effortlessly Vince Young gets rid of a line.
Their ability to pound you down defensively on the sideline.
Gary, I'd say they're right on schedule.
Wow. 2nd down and 9 here in the 28 of Nebraska. The other thing Nebraska has always loved to do, control the football early on. Here it's Texas. That one's going to get batted down. Getting in a hurry was Daniel Bullocks, the sophomore out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Strong safety.
A strong safety blitz. the center of your screen. And as a quarterback, you got to find seams. And you know, Vince Young is running the football like a seasoned junior or senior. In the passing game, he's still coming along. And the Longhorns are in a transition. Chris Sims, Major Applewhite, great pocket passers. Now they've got quarterbacks, including Chance Mock, the second stringer, who can hurt you big time with their feet.
Benson is back in. Nebraska, there'll be a whistle before the snap and a timeout taken by Nebraska. They want to talk it over with a 3rd down and 9 situation. Big play in the game, second one on this series where Texas will be tested. The 11th play of this drive coming up. It is a 3rd down and 9. Nebraska has given up only 29% of 3rd down conversions to the opponents this year. Texas 40% effective. 4 wideouts. First time we've seen that. Man in motion near side. And it's taken out of bounds. Just couldn't control it. Roy Williams, who's had at least 1 reception for the last 43 games now, just couldn't get a handle on that.
Well, and this is part of the transition we were talking about in the passing game. They're not a pocket passing team. They'll go with some more short passing plays to the outside to Roy Williams to get his hands on the football. This is a bubble screen. And you almost hate to see with Vince Young, the way he was running the football on that drive, see him throw the ball outside quickly. You'd like to see him have a run-pass option because of the way he's run the football early against the Cornhuskers.
Dusty Magnum out of Mesquite, Texas, a 46-yard field goal attempt. He is 4 for 4 so far this season. Long count. Magnum has it blocked, and there's Nebraska. That is what they do best. Taken back at the 21-yard line to the 30 and up to about the 33. DeMario Williams, 16-yard return. Nebraska defense again comes up big despite a strong Texas drive.
Classic Nebraska football. They talked about their turnovers. And special teams, very well drilled. And initial penetration. And Texas offensive line gave up penetration and deep penetration into the backfield.
Credit Trevor Johnson getting in there to block. Now Lord goes to work. Carried off the right side to about the 40-yard line by Josh Davis, a third-year starter. Jamal Lord out of Bayonne, New Jersey, a senior. This is another quarterback who not only can pass the football but can and will carry it.
Now, we've talked a lot about Vince Young, but Jamal Lord, big physical runner, very dangerous on the option. Nebraska wants to pound you inside with the power running game and then get to the perimeter with the option game.
Control the football is what they like to do. There's the option they love to run. And that'll be taken out of bounds short of the first down. Lord again on the carry as Derek Johnson out of Waco, Texas got over there to drive him out of bounds. There is the Nebraska backs and receivers unit brought to you by Principal Financial Group.
Josh Davis is a classic eye back in the Nebraska mold. Short, choppy steps, and then he hits it north and south.
Davis loves to carry. We were talking with the coaching staff yesterday, David, about that. Even on the option, if it's an alternative, he'll take the football and carry it himself. He's got a 3rd down and 3 here. And that's what he was going to do right there. He'll be taken for a loss. And that's what Texas has got to do to stop this option. Michael Huff, the sophomore, strong safety, moved in.
Well, to disrupt this Nebraska option game, you need penetration. And sometimes you get penetration with the blitz. Strong safety blitz, Huff off the edge, and got a piece of Lord.
So a good first series for the Texas defense will force the Nebraska punt. Kyle Larson will be doing the punting. Nathan Vassar is back to receive. The punt's going to come from about the 25-yard line. See what Vassar has done on the return so far. Low snap. Didn't get it away cleanly. Up to midfield. It'll take a Nebraska bounce. And they lucked out on that one as it goes inside the 30-yard line. Roy Williams got in and got a hand on that to knock that punt away. So the two defenses rising to the occasion early here. Nebraska, low snap. Fortunate even to get this off. And then got the roll. Austin, Texas, capital, and the Capitol building literally just outside of the Darrell Royal Texas Memorial Stadium. So Nebraska, their first offensive series was a 3-and-out. Cedric Benson back to run off the far side up to about the 30-yard line. As they go with that directional running by Benson out of Midland, Texas. He averages about 4.1 per carry.
Taking a look back at the partial block of the punt. Lane Kelly is the snapper, and Kyle Larson can't quite field the ball cleanly. Roy Williams comes in with the right hand and gets a piece of it. Mac Brown, noted over the years for playing his best athletes on special teams, and it pays dividends on that play.
3 wideouts here on this series. Vince Young, redshirt freshman. In the backfield, some room about the 35, 40-yard line. Benson can go. Cedric Benson, 14-yard gain and a first down for Texas.
That's that zone read play. Vince Young in the shotgun will read the strong side of the defense, the side of the defense where the run is scheduled to be taken by Cedric Benson. And if the defensive end on the other side comes down inside on the play, Vince Young will read it and keep the football. That time, dealt it off to Benson for a first down.
Jason Glenn, the center, good blocking that time as they went to that left side. 2 wideouts to the left side out of the shotgun. Again, the handoff. That one's red. Nebraska gets pretty good penetration, and there was no room to go there. T.J. Holland T.J. Hollowell, rather, out of Copperas Cove, Texas, got in there in a hurry on that one.
Yeah, a lot of screaming going on up in Lincoln, Nebraska a year ago. 7-7 record. That's not going to get it done as far as Huskers fans are concerned. And the defense a year ago, a lot of gambling, man defense, blitzes. This year they're playing much more conservatively in the secondary. Corners playing off, keeping a lid on the passing games of opposing offenses, but they're still going with the blitzes.
Didn't like the look, and so a timeout's going to be taken here. Vince Young. Texas came out, took a look at Nebraska's defensive set, and decided they wanted to talk about it. So Texas will take the timeout. BCS rankings: Nebraska number 9 and Texas number 22 coming into this football game in Austin.
Yeah, so far it's been all Vince Young, and on the opening drive, a highlight reel in itself. Combination of elusiveness, power, and he has great vision. The defenses have to really be aware of his cutback ability in the open field. And Gary, one of the concerns for Texas coming into this game was the young quarterback. Would he turn the ball over like he did in the first half against Oklahoma, against this blitzing style of defense? Nebraska, the Huskers leading the nation in takeaways, and so far Vince Young has taken care of the football.
Looks very solid, very confident out there. We mentioned that there's a two-edged sword when you have your first start at home for a young quarterback. One, you get all the support. You get everybody here cheering for you, wanting you to do well. The other is, though, you're up. You want to do well. You want to put on a big show in your first start.
And high expectations. But I think the game against Kansas State, which was here in Austin, and maybe more importantly, the big game atmosphere on the road against Oklahoma has settled him down and gotten him some big game experience that he needed.
B.J. Johnson, Roy Williams, 2 receivers. There are 4 wideouts here. It's 2nd and 11 on the Texas 43. Young back to throw, short of the first down by about a yard. Sloan Thomas moved over the split end and got that one. Let's check in with John Saunders. John.
Gary, the Taco Bell update. Purdue and Northwestern. Brandon Jones takes the pitch, hands off to Ray Williams. He goes 12 yards, is just about everybody bites on the reverse. 14-0 is the score. All 14 points coming off of Northwestern turnover.
Turnovers. That's what Nebraska has lived off this season.
Boilermakers looking to atone for a very poor showing against the Michigan Wolverines.
3rd down and 1. Young hands it off. It'll be more than 1. Down inside the 40, and the entire Nebraska team on Cedric Benson, the junior tailback, a 7-yard gain.
Now, the right side of the Texas offensive line was unsettled. A real question mark coming into the 2003 year. A lot of experience on the left side, but now the right side of the offensive line is starting to gel. And look at the push up front. Nice seam for Benson to pick his way through. And Cedric Benson finishes off short yardage situation runs as well as anybody in the Big 12.
Texas right now, some great blocking going on. They're getting it done. Matthews, a fullback, in there along with Benson as they go to the I formation behind Vince Young. Young will go to the second man through. Benson inside the 35-yard line. He's a horse. A lot of carries week after week for him. 7-yard gain on that one.
Mac Brown, we heard from him earlier. Big part of the game plan. Keep the football, move the chains, and so far 2 sustained drives for the Longhorns and doing a pretty darn good job of moving the ball on the ground against this Nebraska defensive front.
Benson coming into this game at 122 carries, averaging just over 4 yards. Texas already up to 100 yards in offense in this game in the first quarter. That'll be carried right to the middle of the line by Matthews, maybe for a yard. The junior, 6'3", 250. Will Matthews running out of that fullback position. Now Nebraska trying to tighten it up. Another third down. Short yardage. 3rd down and 1. See whether or not Young just tries to sneak this one through. It's a couple of tight ends. Scafee, Thomas, both in there. Will be handed to the second man in the eye, and that'll be enough for the first down. Benson again on the carry. Brandon Teamer, the defensive tackle, moved in and got him. Let's take a look at our Jeep rushing playbook.
Short yardage situation. And we're going to take a look at David Thomas, the big tight end. He's going to work against Lornell McPherson, the cornerback, and the give to Cedric Benson. Solid block. And create some running room up front. Texas does a great job with their fullbacks and tight ends in motion to create blocking angles up front.
The Texas rushing offense ranks 16th in the country. Their scoring offense is 3rd. The keeper. A lot of room there for Young. And Young moves for another 5-yard gain to about the 24-yard line.
For the Nebraska Cornhuskers defense, Gary, you talk about the load that they have to handle. The defensive backs and their pass game responsibilities. Defensive front trying to handle Cedric Benson, and then you've got the added threat of Vince Young running the football. I mean, that is a lot to handle for a defense.
It's a great matchup with this running game of Texas and the outstanding defense of Nebraska. The near side, some room, and it'll be up to around the 15-yard line again. Benson, before he's driven out of bounds, and it was Rue to get over there to get him. Let's check in again with John Saunders. John?
More action from the Big Ten. Iowa facing Illinois. It's been an awful season for the Illini. Nathan Chandler to the back of the end zone. Wide open is Tony Jackson. 7-0 is the lead for the Hawkeyes.
Well, the numbered teams putting up some points early. 2 numbered teams here.
Can't help but think Illinois. Ron Turner may be in some trouble up in Champaign.
Texas 8 first downs. And they're keeping it on the ground. Benson inside the 10 and up to about the 5. And the line in front of him really pushing Nebraska. Trevor Johnson finally made the tackle.
A low angle replay. The early running success for Vince Young at quarterback has loosened up this Nebraska defense.
Will Allen leading on the blocking on that.
That's right, Gary. And not only Will Allen, but getting a tremendous push up front from his line mates. Great work by the heavies for Texas.
See, Nebraska 15 trips in, 8 touchdowns by the opponents against Nebraska. Again, Benson is up to about the 2-yard line, and the charge is on. Smith moved in, the defensive tackle, to get him.
Has to be very frustrating for Bo Pelini, defensive coordinator for Nebraska. I mean, you're watching your defense here, and Texas sustaining the ball on the ground and doing it at will. And Cedric Benson facing 2nd and 3rd and short situations and picking up those short yardage situations with ease.
Ball spotted at the 3, 1st and goal at the 3. Benson up to 51 yards and 9 carries. Two wideouts to the left side, one near side. Lone setback is Benson. Benson in. Touchdown. There's a flag. And it's going against Texas.
A legal motion.
So for the moment at least, that will cost them a touchdown on the 3-yard plunge by Benson.
Illegal motion on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
The first and goal from the 8.
It's tough to pick up. I watched all 3 wide receivers and the tailback before the snap of the football, and they were fixed. It was a tight end on the left side. Got down in a 3-point stance, and we might be able to get another shot of that, but tight end moved early for Texas.
This time it'll be Young going back into the shotgun. First and goal at the 8-yard line for Texas. 2 wideouts on the left side. Fake to Benson. Young's going to carry to the 5. Just out of bounds before he got in. Inside the 1. Jonathan Scott, the left tackle, blocking in front of him and missed by a half a step.
Now this is a smart play by Vince Young. It's a first down call, and he's going to hold off on stretching the football, diving for the pylon. He realizes that he's going out at the half-yard line, but he also realizes it's important to secure the football down near the goal line. You got second down coming up. Smart play by a young quarterback.
2 backs, second and goal at the 1-yard line. Texas with a man in motion. Second man through. Benson. Do it again. Touchdown. That was a pretty impressive 2 offensive drives by Texas. Dusty Magnum will be going for the point after. He's got it up. Flag down. It was good, but there's a flag down. It's on Nebraska. Mangum puts it through. 72 yards, 14 plays, 13 of those on the ground. And Texas, Benson goes in to give them the lead. Benson, who took it in for the touchdown, and Texas has the 7-0 lead, and they have kept the Nebraska defense on the field. The 1-yard run. He and Young putting up big rushing numbers. Richmond McGee will be kicking off. Josh Davis will be the intended for Nebraska.
It's been the Nebraska defensive blitz package that has created so much of the success, but tough to blitz when a team's controlling the ball on the ground against you.
Sent off to the near side and right at the goal line and in. Couldn't spot it much more than that. And will bring it out to the 20 for a first down. It was 1996. Senior Priest Holmes ran for 3 touchdowns, 120 yards rushing. Pivotal play, 2:48 remaining. James Brown faked the run, roll left. Derek Lewis, 61-yard gain. Unranked Texas knocked off number 3 Nebraska, 37-27. The first ever Big 12 championship.
Time of possession becoming a big factor here early in the football game. Wow.
Nebraska's used to having that the other way around. Jamal Lord, wide receiver, set near side. They'll pitch it. And taken up to about the 24-yard line. Not a lot of room there for Josh Davis as Roderick Wright.
And with the weather, pretty hot day as far as early November days go in college football. I think it's very important for Nebraska to put together a couple first downs here. And the Husker defensive unit sucking wind a bit on the sidelines. Give them a rest.
Josh Davis averaging about 4.5 yards per carry. Carried on that first one, 2nd and 6, and now a timeout's going to be taken by Texas. So they didn't like their defensive alignment after what they saw. Lord will go over. See the timeouts remaining here as each team's had one. Want to remind you, Tom Brady has the 6-2 Patriots atop the AFC East Monday night. He leads the Pats against Clinton Portis and the Broncos. It'll be at Mile High. New England, Denver, Monday Night Football, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on ABC. Monday Night Football, the Tex-Exes, who have been on Monday Night Football, some familiar names.
Easily 2 of the top 5 running backs in the NFL today.
Priest Holmes against Oakland and Ricky Williams. You see 23 rushes, 69 yards there on the 27th game.
Now, they've been awarded some great running backs here over the last 9-10 years. Hodges, Mitchell, of course Holmes and Ricky, but Cedric Benson, not much of a drop off there either. Mac Brown coming off 2 straight 11-win seasons here in Austin.
A loss to Arkansas that ended their home streak in the 2nd game played this year, and then they lost to Oklahoma in a 65-13 shootout.
And we'll look at that game. Texas really got behind the 8 ball with the turnovers in the first half. Wasn't a game at halftime.
2nd down and 6, carried on the quick pitch near side up to about the 35-yard line. Lord can get rid of it when he needs to. Josh Davis on the carry, and we'll check in again with John Saunders.
Out of the ACC, North Carolina facing Maryland. That's Mike Mason taking the kickoff, fakes the handoff, and then just takes off. Barely a hand on him as he goes 96 yards for the touchdown. North Carolina leads Maryland 14-6.
To Texas. This is going to be first Nebraska first down. They picked up 10 on that, carried wide. That's going to be back at the 30-yard line for the loss. Great work by the Texas D. They were blitzing a 4-yard loss on that play. They had that one covered wide.
Exchange problem in the backfield, or very nearly an exchange problem. And Michael Huff, number 7, the strong safety, having him a great game early. Now this defense for Texas has great speed, and I think Nebraska is going to have to test this defense inside between the tackles with the power running game, soften the defense before you start trying the perimeter. It's also obvious, Gary, Texas is focusing on Jamal Lord. They want to make him pitch the football.
He's going to hand off this time around far side. Josh Davis again, not a lot of running room. Texas doing a good job. They told us they want to string out this Nebraska offense. Aaron Harris, the sophomore middle linebacker over that time. They want to use the sideline as the 12th D, Texas does. Longer they can spread it out, keep guys running east and west, not north and south, they'll be happy.
Nebraska runs the classic belly option, which is basically a quarterback running the ball on a sweep with a pitch man. And the longer you can stretch it out to the sidelines, the more you buy time for your speed to get there.
3rd and 10 at the 34-yard line. Nebraska in their own territory. Looking downfield, had 4 wide receivers. A lot of room here. Lord, flag goes down. Lord's back at the 20 and gets leveled. A 13-yard loss. Mike Williams, defensive end, with some help.
So Mike Williams had a huge day last week against Baylor. That's an illegal block below the waist. Might have been a chop block.
And that came from trying to protect their quarterback.
Taking another look from behind Jamal Lord. Looking downfield, but this pocket collapses early. And now Lord trying to buy some time in a 3rd and long situation, trying to get creative. And how about the lick that Mike Williams lays on it?
Only 8 seconds left to go here in the first. Got the fans on to cool the players down. Sun comes out. It gets pretty darn warm here. Timeout will be taken. So they want to take advantage of that 8 seconds. Tomorrow on Alias, she was lost for 2 years. Now Agent Sydney Bristow will risk it all to expose the secrets of her disappearance. You won't believe what happens. It's next on the all-new Alias, ABC tomorrow. Williams over to take a blow. And talking about how they want to run this Nebraska. 4th down and 23.
Gary, I think Mac Brown called a timeout here to create a situation where he can take advantage of the wind.
With only 8 seconds left to go here in the first quarter, Brown wanting them to have to kick from this end. Basher goes back. He'll be standing back at about the 35-yard line. Punt's going to come from about the 5-yard line for Kyle Larson. You can bet Texas will be rushing here. Everybody up on that line. Long snap. Texas didn't move on it. Larson's kick. Line drive shot. Do you get a foot into that one? Look at this kick. It will go into the end zone. That's a break for Texas right there. An 80-yard punt. And no chance for a return. We've completed the first quarter. ABC Sports presentation of college football will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Texas up 7-0. How do you get the job to carry the big drum around on the field out there? I mean, you talk about working before the game. Big Bertha getting hauled around out there by those guys. They were working out.
Yeah, you got to be the big man on campus to carry that baby.
Gary Thorne, David Norrie, great to have you with us here for this spectacular matchup of Nebraska, Texas. These long storied traditions of football. Texas has the 1st and 10 to start the second quarter. Up to the 20 and about the 22-yard line. Selvin Young out of Houston. And now you see the rotating quarterbacks for Texas coming into effect here. As for this series, Chance Mock, the junior, is in.
And when you talk to Mac Brown about Chance Mock, he says, hey, he'd be starting anywhere else in the country. Of course, he started the first 6 games here for Texas. Number 6 in the country in passing efficiency. And since he got demoted to 2nd string in the last 2 games, when he has come in the game, and he comes in every 2nd or 3rd possession, and he's completing over 70% of his passes.
He's the passer of the 2, the better of the 2, and there you see it in effect right there, completed on the near side. So now you get one quarterback who comes out and run it. You get Thomas on the reception from Mock. That's what Nebraska's got to deal with.
Hey, looking at the first quarter stats, the wrap on this Texas Longhorn team this year, they're soft. Offensively up front running the football at times, defensively, but those numbers indicate otherwise.
Very impressive.
This is one of the storied programs in Nebraska when you talk physical football.
Mock in, 4 wide receivers, 2 on each side. It is a 1st down and 10 at the 35-yard line. Texas at their own 35. Mock, who likes to drop everybody out. He's got a little room far side. Goes down the middle, and a reception will take it into Nebraska territory. B.J. Johnson out of Grand Prairie. 20 receptions, 3 touchdowns coming into the game, 23-yard gain.
Well, when Mock springs to the outside, a lot of coaches in college football would say, hey, you got the 1st down, pick it up. But Mock is a pretty special passer. He has tremendous confidence in his throwing ability, both from the pocket and on the move. And just a nice job of taking a little bit off that throw, Gary. Beautiful throw down the center of the field to B.J. Johnson.
Mock coming in, 75 out of 129, 58%, 14 touchdown passes thrown by Mock. Couple in the backfield, 2 wide receivers near side. He likes to step and throw. He's going for the end zone inside the 5 at the goal line. It'll be incomplete. Ran him deep. Good coverage by Fabian Washington. Again, it was B.J. Johnson, the intended receiver, as Mock airs it out.
Yeah, Mock took a shot there and not much room. Fabian Washington, one of the best cover corners, not only in the Big 12, but in the country. And as a quarterback, even with the speed of a B.J. Johnson or Roy Williams on the other side, you want to give your talented guys outside a chance to make the big plays. On that play, Chance Mock should have come down underneath.
Looks like a different team. I mean, when you bring Texas's other quarterback in, instead of Young running the football, here you bring Mock in, and it looks like you've gone to the pro pass.
Yeah, and you take great advantage of the 3 talented seniors outside.
He'll come near side. They reverse it the other way. There's going to be no room on the far side. Selvin Young, the sophomore tailback, had nowhere to go as Ryan Bingham get in there, and a loss of 5 on that carry.
This is where the warning light comes on for the Texas offense. You're in a great situation for Nebraska's defense to spring the blitz package and also to look for a turnover.
Vince Young sitting out this series, 3 for 5 passing, 68 yards and 7 rushes. Young is earning his way into the #1 spot, maybe for the end of this year, certainly for the future for Texas. It'll be a 3rd down and 15. They'll work out of the shotgun, 2 wide receivers to the near wide side. Mock's going to be under pressure to the sideline, and has nobody down there as he just gets rid of it. And let's check in with John Saunders. John.
Well, Gary, in the SEC, Ole Miss and South Carolina trading touchdowns. Eli Manning goes 5 yards to Chris Collins, so they grab the early lead. But South Carolina marches right back down the field. Dondriel Pinkins, 11 yards to Demetrius Summers for the touchdown, tied at 7.
John keeping us updated on games going on this Survival Saturday. Richmond McGee is back to do the punting. Josh Davis, the lone back for Nebraska. Plenty of time. Kicked into the middle. Gonna let it bounce. And just into the end zone. Good effort to try and knock that away, but not quite. A 47-yard punt it ends up being, despite the effort by Aaron Ross to get back there and knock that thing away. About 4,000 Nebraska faithful on hand to their football program that goes back to 1890. 83,308 on hand, the 8th largest in stadium history for this matchup. Nebraska back on the attack, looking deep at the 15. Got to reverse it. Lord's got some running room up to the 20, the 25, and will be shy of the first down. And a little unhappy with the hit that took place over there along the Nebraska bench. Take a look now at our Pacific Life game summary.
A couple big plays in the special teams early. Trevor Johnson getting a piece of Mangum's attempted field goal. And then Kyle Larson can't quite get this off. Roy Williams gets a piece of it. Vince Young, some tremendous running to set up Cedric Benson's touchdown. So far, that's the difference, Gary.
Benson taking it in for the TD. That'll be his 11th rushing. A personal foul is called here against Texas on Cedric Griffin, the cornerback, for the activity that took place over there outside the line.
I'll tell you what, Jamal Lord had Matt Harrion, his tight end, number 11, wide open down the middle of the field. Let's take a look at the end of the run. And that's Cedric Griffin just giving him a little bit of a left hand shove, little love tap there. Sometimes it gets called, sometimes it doesn't.
David Horn in the eye back. Carried up close to midfield as they're going to try and get something done on the ground. And we'll check in again with John Saunders.
Michigan and Michigan State, and it's the Wolverines that get on the board first. Chris Perry, who's already almost at 100 yards in just about a quarter plus, and Michigan has a 7-0 lead.
18 and 10 in the BCS standings. Here we've got a 2nd down and 5. Spotted just shy of midfield at the 49. 2 running backs out of the shotgun. Lord going to be taken for a loss. Loss of 3 on that one. That's what Texas is going to try and do. Key on him and not let him get wide.
Well, Texas has done a great job with penetration into the backfield, and part of the problem with Texas and giving up yards over the course of the season defensively, they haven't been tackling well. Mike Williams has emerged on this football team. Had a huge game last week against Baylor, 3 sacks.
Lord has now rushed 5 times for a -8. He's back in the pocket. It's knocked out of his hands. Nebraska will get it back. Well, that's That's a little bit of Nebraska defense right there, reaching in for the football. Incognito. Nebraska not happy with that as Incognito recovered it. But look at the pressure.
And Marcus Tubbs, the big defensive tackle, number 95, lost his helmet at the snap of the football. Take a look from the end zone camera. The play action fake, and here he is right here, no helmet.
He lost it early.
And he stayed after the quarterback. I mean, that's an aggressive play by a big defensive tackle.
Kyle Larson standing back at his own 25 for the punt. Texas has done it again defensively. And that will be taken at the 14-yard line up to the 30. That with the carry. Nathan Vastner, good return, gives him a little room to work out of. 1st and 10 coming up. 47-yard punt, 15-yard return. Our Aflac trivia question this week. You're not going to believe this one. The heaviest living mascot in college football. Is it Mike the Tiger, LSU, Bevo, Texas, Ralphie at Colorado, or Traveler at USC? We'll give you the answer a little later. It's the heaviest, and note we're talking living college mascot.
Gary, I have no idea on that one, but I do know that's a lot of beef.
Bevo's here, so if we need to get a weigh in, we can at least do it with Bevo.
He looks like he's just mildly interested in the game at this point. Wants to see some more points.
No, he disagreed. See, you're tired. No.
He says, hey,
I'm interested.
Longhorns have the lead. I'm plenty interested.
I'm in this game. All right, 1st down and 10. Texas at their own 19-yard line. Now Young has come back in to play quarterback. Chance Mock ran that one series. That's what they've been doing. And the handoff, no, faked. He'll take it wide. Young at the 20, trying to get the turn, a little blocking. He'll get it up over the 25-yard line as he strung it out. And had some good blocking. An 8-yard gain before Rude could get over there with T.J. Hollowell to get him out of bounds.
Boy, Vince Young can make up for mistakes. Texas a blocking infraction on the return. They start with tough field position, and a 1st down run by number 10 gets them out of the shadow of their own goalpost.
It looks like sometimes it's developing so slowly, but it's because he reads so well. He waits for things to happen in front of him, never forces the action. Benson is back in as the lone running back. Benson on the carry. And boy, he can get away. He dodges about 3 tackles there to take it up to about the 34-yard line for a gain of 7 and a 1st down.
What a cut in the backfield to make Barrett Rude, the big middle linebacker, miss. See if we can get a look from the side here. Middle linebacker blitz, and watch the cut. Comes to a stop with both feet and just loses Barrett. He is going to be a very solid back in the NFL. He's the type of guy I think you could hand the ball to him 25, 30 carries a game. Very durable, great short yardage guy as well.
He had 32 carries last week. Texas now up to 186 total yards. There's the quick pitch to him off the near side. Covered pretty well. He had about the 40-yard line, a gain of 6. Johnson in on the tackle, and we'll check in again with John Saunders. John.
All right, guys, Ole Miss against South Carolina. As you can see, it's 7-7. Eli Manning, perfect touch on that ball. Great grab by Chris Collins, 15 yards. And South Carolina has just scored. Point pending. Will be a tie game.
I like Eli for the Heisman right now. Everybody's talking about Jason White, but Eli doesn't have the people around him as we also take a look at the offensive production, and quite a contrast.
A real contrast. Texas also had that great possession. That's enough line of scrimmage, and that's about as far as that one's going to go. You notice how they've used that slashing running game and then have come off that the other way with the fake and have Young carry. Coming up, it'll be our Capital One halftime show. John Terry and Greg will be breaking down the Survival Saturday biggest games, and the governor of Oklahoma will be along to explain the Bedlam Brawl.
And as you mentioned in the running game, the slashing inside runs by Benson, and then the perimeter runs by Young. It's by design. They sit in the shotgun, the zone read, and Young really doing a great job of piloting this offense in the first half.
Shotgun 3rd and 4 from their own 40, and Nebraska blocks it and intercepts it at midfield, and Nebraska takes over. Titus Adams out out of Omaha, the 6'3" sophomore. It got blocked by DeMario Williams, who's a Butkus semifinalist, and this is Nebraska's story all year. The Nebraska defense is what sets up their offense.
And they came into the game leading the country, 32 takeaways, and you put Texas and a young quarterback, Vince Young, in an obvious passing situation, and you take them out of the comfort zone. Good play up front, defensive linemen getting their hands up on the quick throwing game, and a nice play on the interception.
First turnover, Nebraska gets it. They're going to look deep. Lord goes down the near sideline. That one will be incomplete. He's going for the first down on the short side. So Nebraska continues to be the nation's leader in turnovers plus minus. You see the takeaways, 18 interceptions.
They came into this year, and I think Bo Pelini, the defensive coordinator, along with Frank Solich, said, we are not going to play man-to-man. We've got a couple very talented corners, but we're going to play zone behind the blitz package, not take as many risks and keep our eyes towards the passer. It's turned out to create a lot of interceptions.
Jamal Lord gets into Texas territory just barely for the first time in this football game. Aaron Harris came over along with Vasher, the left cornerback, to put the hit on.
Nathan Vasher is one of the premier cornerbacks in the Big 12 Conference, really the featured cornerback for Texas. And the tackling has really picked up in the secondary for Texas. It was a weakness earlier this year, but they are tackling well this afternoon against Nebraska.
The Texas young ends and inexperienced secondary expected to be tested by Nebraska in running that option. It'll be a third down and 9 from midfield. Back again, Lord steps up, looking deep, goes deep, man open at the 20, 15, 10 before the tackle is made. Good long gain right there. That's the receiver, Matt Herrion, that you were talking about earlier. He's a favorite target for Lord, a 42-yard gain.
Watch the patience in the pocket. Lord's going to reload a couple times here. Flag route by Matt Herrion, and he was working against Reed Boyd. That's a mismatch. We're talking to the Texas defensive coaches yesterday, and Herrion from the tight end position is really their big play threat in the passing game, and they made the comment, I think Jamal Lord and Herrion are roommates because he looks to number 11.
Good play by Herrion. First down at 10. Obviously deepest penetration there's been for Nebraska. Judd Davies carries the ball up to about the 5-yard line on a first and goal for Nebraska with Texas up 7-0. So Nebraska using the passing game. They are 115th in the country in passing. Well, they don't do much of it.
Yeah, that running the football is what Nebraska is all about, but that was a beautiful job by Lord and showed great passing ability to fit that ball in along the sideline.
Davies and Horn in the eye. Maybe a change here at the line. Second down and goal from the 5. Lord making sure his lineman knew what was coming. What was coming was him. No wonder he wanted him to know. And he gets up maybe inside the 4.
Boy, they are overplaying Jamal Lord. They want to make sure that he pitches the football. And then no secret for the Texas defense and their coaches, Jamal Lord is the key. And he is gaining a lot of focus from this Texas defensive front, as well as the linebacking core. And Texas has done a great job of taking him out of this football game, at least his running ability early.
Big play. Third down at 4. Third and goal from the 4-yard line. Lord looking left side. Loops one towards the corner. Incomplete. Had no receiver remotely close to the ball that time. Kind of overthrew it. He was looking for Davies, who was kind of cutting out there on the left side.
Davies was wide open, and Jamal Lord has to get this ball up early. He has a touchdown. And Jamal Lord held on to the ball for a couple counts, and then he made a very poor throw. Look at Davies slip out wide open into the flat. You got to get that ball up early. Granted, Jamal Lord faced some late pressure in the pocket, but you got to get that football up before the pressure arrives.
A 21-yard field goal attempt here. David Dykes. These defenses just aren't going to let it happen. So Texas rises to the occasion. Nebraska could not convert on the third, and they do not get the field goal. Odds Robson go up. Got a hand on it. Texas remains on top 7-0. Could he have done that in the National Football League if he came down on top of his or players? Maybe there would have been a penalty call in blocking that kick. He got the arm up. Look at the special teams.
You talk about selling out to block a field goal. Watch Robeson go up, freeze it right here. And look at him lay out right there. I mean, that is great extension and selling out your body for the Texas football program. What a play by Robinson.
So he makes the defensive play. Nebraska gets nothing out of it after a good drive, and now Texas takes over. They will have a 1st and 10 at their own 20, and rolling out and looking. 35, and it'll be a 1st down. Scaife, Bo Scaife, tight end on the reception. ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Hummer. Check out the H2 at Hummer.com. Hummer like nothing else. Miller High Life, to live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life. And Aflac, ask about it at work. Hook 'em Horns. That's where we are, Austin. The home of these Texas Longhorns. Right now have the 7-0 lead in this game. A 1st down and 10 with the ball at the 35-yard line. Fake carried. Young, 40. Midfield. Nobody out there to get him. Turn it on. That's Young. Touchdown. With a key block for these Texas ends who look to have a big year receiving. They've had to do more of this blocking, unselfishly so. 65 yards. No wonder Texas is buzzing about this red-shirted freshman quarterback.
Vince Young made a tremendous read on the zone read play. His key was Bernard Thomas. And I'll tell you what, the speed was unbelievable. Watch, he's going to read Bernard Thomas here. If he gets inside, Young's going to keep the football and take it on the perimeter. He reads Thomas, Thomas bites, and then it's off to the races. And Josh Bullocks from the left of your screen is going to try to run him down. At this level, nobody runs down Vince Young.
65-yard touchdown, 9 rushes now, 141 yards for Young. It's his 9th rushing touchdown. Keep in mind, he wasn't even the starting quarterback and really till 3 games ago. Pretty amazing.
Amazing running talent. I mean, just eye-popping talent running the football.
Mangum is back for the extra point. Texas crowd hushes for it, and he puts it through. And the attack continues, led by their young quarterback. Texas on top, 14-0. Texas on top. Little excess celebration is going to cost them a 15-yard penalty on the kick. 2 plays, 80 yards, 42 seconds. That's pretty efficient.
Well, McGee looks like he may be setting up for some sort of onside kick here.
With a 15-yard penalty, he's back at the 20-yard line.
The way he angles that football, looks like he's setting up for an onside kick, and of course they're going to kick it deep. But
Josh Davis is deep for Nebraska. A chance for good field position here for Nebraska, and a chance for a run back as well in light of the penalty. Davis, good kick, bobbled at the 12. That's going to cost him. He won't get to the 20. Aaron Ross handled cleanly, might have had some yardage, but not when it got bobbled. Well, our Aflac trivia question: the heaviest living mascot, the Tiger, Bevo here, Ralphie at Colorado, or Traveler at USC? Which do you think's the heaviest? thought Bevo.
Yeah, he's close to a ton.
Oh!
25. I thought Ralphie might have been pretty heavy, but he's nowhere near Bevo's league when it comes to sheer beef.
Ralphie, 700 pounds. That's going to be carried up over the 20 to about the 23-yard line. Jamal Lord, may have been a broken play, or may have just been trying to put it back. Well, congratulations, of course, to Bevo, wins again.
Bevo is the heaviest, but I think the key there is you don't want to get hit by any of those masks.
No. Absolutely not. Bevo enjoying a little adult libation there.
Personal sip cup.
It'll be a 2nd down and 4. Ball spotted at the 24-yard line. Nebraska man in motion, held by Lord on the pitch. That's what Texas wants to string out. They went to the short side with it, and Reed Boyd, the strong side linebacker, was right there. It'll be a loss of 6.
The perimeter run game for Nebraska has been absolutely shut off. Great pursuit by linebackers, secondary players, and I think Texas is showing a disregard for the passing game threat down the field. And Nebraska, Frank Solich, they better start helping Texas to a healthier dose of passing down the field, trying to spring their tight ends and wide receivers, because this Longhorn defense is using numbers against the run.
And getting it done, it'll bring up another 3rd. 3rd down and 10, and another timeout taken here by Nebraska. Immediately, Jamal Lord came out, took one look, said need to talk about this. We'll come back with their 3rd down play. One of the big pluses for Nebraska this year, they have started on average at about their own 42-yard line. Today, they're 28-yard line. Big difference.
Vince Young at quarterback, combined with a great effort from this Texas defense, has produced those numbers.
This is a 3rd down and 10. Wide receiver near side. Jamal Lord back off balance. Throw is caught. Flag is down behind the play. Matt Harrion again somehow hauling that in on the sideline, but it looks like the football's coming back.
That was a heck of a sliding catch if Harrion did secure it. I'd like to take another look at that.
Didn't think he was going to be able to.
On the offense, half the distance to go. Repeat 3rd down.
Break for Texas.
Well, Jamal Lord loves to look to Harrion, number 11, as tight end. Leads him to the outside, and that's not a catch. I mean, his feet are sliding. That right, it looks like that right knee and that right leg is out of bounds before he secures the football. Throw from the pocket, and once again, Lord facing heavy heat.
First penalty called on Nebraska. 3rd down and 18. With the ball at the 10-yard line. And they're just going to try and run it out of there. About the 13-yard line, the ball was lost, held on to. Derek Johnson tripped him up, caused the fumble. Texas.
Derek Johnson, preseason All-American. The best athletes at the outside linebacking position you'll see across the country. And recognize that play. Great job coming up and making the hit. And Richie Incognito, the left tackle for Nebraska, alertly covering that football. Could have been disastrous for the Cornhuskers.
Larson's got a kick from his own end zone. Vassar is back. Rush put on. Got his foot into that one. We've seen some punts here today and out of bounds. Couldn't stay in bounds. Ball was caught over there at about the 33-yard line. There'll be no return on that one. Texas with a 14-0 lead. A 56-yard punt. Texas will take over 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line. Mock is back in at quarterback, and that'll be incomplete on the far side. Bring up a 2nd down and 10. Chance Mock back in. Tomorrow, if Vijay Singh can pull out a win at the Chrysler Championship, he will become the first player to beat Tiger Woods on the PGA Tour money list in 5 years. Final round action comes your way tomorrow, 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, right here on ABC. A second down for Texas. Second down and 10. Chance Mock, the junior, 6'2", 215-pounder, sharing duties with Vince Young. He works out of the shotgun. Mock coming near side. Little comebacker, and that's going to be incomplete. Intended for Sloan Thomas, but Mock threw that one short, and it'll be 3rd and 10.
Yeah, Mock has to be very disappointed in his play on that second down attempt. And, he's a talented thrower, comes outside. He wants to make the most of each possession. He only gets to come in the game every 3rd possession. Has Sloan Thomas wide open and skips it on the turf. 2 for 6 for 36 yards here in the first half.
Mock again will be working out of the shotgun. Pass defense out for Nebraska. Wide receivers near side 2. Another comeback, and that one's going to be overthrown. Incomplete. Roy Williams, the intended receiver. It has got to be tough, David, you're a former quarterback, for Mock to come in these kinds of situations and then try and play like he's playing the whole game.
Well, he's played well the last 2 games as a sub for Vince Young, hitting over 70% of his passes, and he's ranked in the top 10 in the country in passing efficiency. But those last 2 plays, misfires, and he had Roy Williams open on 3rd down, overshot it.
The kick by McGee will be handled. The 24, a flag goes down. And there's some banging going on out there. Ross picks up that football. It was a 50-yard punt. You take a look at the hitting that went on just as that ball was being received.
Mac Brown has to be thrilled with the efforts of all facets of the Texas football team in this game, including special teams.
Oh, they're saying no flag. Well, it'll just be a 1st down and 10. The Cornhuskers and the Longhorns. Gary Thorne, David Norrie with you here in Austin. Couple of TDs set up by Young. This drive, Benson capped it off with a 3-yarder. And then the explosiveness of Vince Young.
Vince Young, we talked about it at the top. I mean, a real treat to watch this guy in action.
65-yard run there. Nebraska on the 1st and 10. A lot of room there. Carried up to about the 30-yard line. Nebraska's Jamal Lord didn't have anyone to go to, so the Bayonne, New Jersey native took it out himself.
Prior to that 1st down play, outside of the 42-yard hookup to Harrion, Nebraska had run 20 plays for a total of 13 yards.
Hurry up offense. That one's going to be incomplete. Just trying to swing one out into the far side. Tim Crowder, left defensive end, got over there and got the arm up on that play.
If Nebraska wants to get back in this football game, they're going to have to start throwing the ball on 1st and 2nd down situations. And Texas knows right here it's a throwing situation, 14-0 lead, and Nebraska coming down trying to pick up points. But when the 3rd quarter of this game gets underway, Jamal Lord is going to have to make some yards down the field to his tight ends and wide receivers in the passing game in obvious running down.
He's only 1 for 4, 42 yards for Lord. The carry's going to go nowhere. And right now the Texas D is just dominating play out here. Crowder again moved over to put the hit on. There's nowhere to go. 1 for 7 on 3rd down opportunities for Nebraska in the ball game. They get another one here. Time running out with 1:12 left to go. Texas wants to ensure some field position and time with the football again. Nebraska's out of timeouts. They don't want to stop the clock right now, but Texas does. The ball at the 31-yard line.
Mac Brown is getting tremendous enthusiasm, pursuit out of his defense, numbers getting to the ball, and great effort as far as tackling is concerned from the Longhorns in the first half. They're dominating all 3 facets of the game here in the first half.
Larson will be kicking. Vassar is back for Texas. Vassar back at his own 25-yard line. And there's time for Texas to do more damage here in this first half. If they can get a decent run back here in good field position, they use the timeout to give themselves that opportunity. What's Nebraska got to do to get back into this into this football game.
Well, they better start winning the battle in the trenches. And like I said, they're not going to be able to get it done with the mix of run that they're springing at Texas. They're going to have to start moving the ball through the air in the second half.
Punt will come from the 15. Good kick. Taken at the 21. Passes up to the 35 and about the 37-yard line. So Texas will take over. 51-yard punt, 16-yard return. It was 1998. Ricky Williams, Heisman Trophy winner, 37 rushes, 150 yards. Major Applewhite in this game would find Wayne McGarity. 2-yard TD pass, 2:47 remaining. Texas stopped Nebraska 2016 in Lincoln back in '98.
It's interesting, Gary, matchups in college football. So much has been made of Texas's inability to win against Oklahoma the last 3 years. Well, on the other side of the coin, Texas has had great success against Nebraska. The Longhorns have won 4 out of the last 5 against Frank Solich. And you go back to last year, the biggest crowd in Memorial Stadium history up in Lincoln, Texas behind Chris Sims.
Chance Mock is in at quarterback. Nebraska just got out there 11 players. That'll be out of bounds. Thomas on the near side. Sloan Thomas, the senior, split in. As Texas will try and get some yardage here with Mock, the throwing quarterback, in there. The second down and about 1. And the ball spotted at the 46-yard line.
They're interesting. They're giving Vince Young a bit of a blow here late in the first half.
Chance Mock working out of that shotgun. Good protection as they move that pocket. And that will be caught. Fine catch by B.J. Johnson. Went up and hauled that in, and now they're in scoring position.
B.J. Johnson turning that post corner route to the outside, just gets the left foot in bounds. And how about the throw on the move from Chance Mock? And Mock is in the game in this situation. As we look at the comparison, Mock is in the game in this situation because of the clock drive and moving the ball through the air.
Goes towards the end zone. That one will be overthrown, and that will stop the clock. Johnson again was the intended receiver. And now Texas will get time to think about it, stopping the clock with 45 seconds left to go. But Texas love to tack on another one here.
Taking a look again at the comparison, and Mock not quite with the numbers we've been accustomed to see in the last couple games. And look at the rush yards here. Vince Young is a very special threat for this Texas offense.
Second down and 10, ball at the 33. Again out of the shotgun. 3 wide receivers, 2 to the near side. Mock looking short side. Wants to use that sideline. Fumbled, and Nebraska going after it. No, they did not get it. Close. Fabian Washington move over to put the hit on to free that football up for Nebraska.
Watch the aggressive play of Fabian Washington. First he secures the tackle, and then he goes for the football.
Tony Jeffrey had the football. Ended up going out of bounds on the fumble, though.
Jeffrey lucky to get that football back, and a critical mistake for Texas. Jeffrey inside the 30-yard line and well within Mangum's range. Now Chance Mock in a situation where he needs to pick up positive yards to get back in field goal range.
3rd and 13, loss of 3 on that play. Mock will come to the near side. A lot of running room. Chooses to go deep into the end zone. Intercepted. Picked off by Lornell McPherson, who comes in on that nickel. The Omaha, Nebraska native, and again, the Nebraska defense creates the turnover.
Underthrow by Chance Mock. Chance Mock makes a good throwing decision, and Sloan Thomas breaks by McPherson. The ball is underthrown. If Chance Mock leads Sloan Thomas to the back of the end zone, that's a touchdown. Thomas, a nice job of slipping both defensive backs and creating separation, and Mock wants that one back.
Comes with 30 seconds left to go here in the first half. Nebraska will take over. It'll be at the 1-yard line. A couple of interceptions off Mock this year.
And it's surprising because Mock has a big arm, and you don't expect him to underthrow that ball. He's got plenty of arm strength.
Well, Nebraska just trying not to give up a safety here. Just lunge ahead. Lord. That'll keep the clock running.
Derek Johnson going over the top. Got toppled in the backfield.
He was airborne on that one. Frank Solich is going to have to take Nebraska in and figure out, one, how they get their offense going, and two, what they do to shut down a Texas team that has dominated. We'll return the Capital One halftime show after this message and a word from our ABC stations at the half. Texas 14 and Nebraska nothing. Welcome back. Austin, Texas is the site. A lot ends 14-0 over Nebraska at the half. Nebraska relies on that running game in order to get it going. They have lost yardage in 7 of the 21 attempts they've made on the ground. They've got a grand total of 20 rushing yards.
Nebraska has to do two things if they want to get back in this football game. They've got to reestablish the line of scrimmage, but to loosen things up, I think Jamal Lord has to get the ball downfield. He's missed a couple opportunities to his big tight end, Matt Harrion. They've got to hit some balls down the field, penalize Texas for the defiant way that Texas is bringing men up on the line of scrimmage.
Got to find a way to get their offense on the field, too, because right now Texas has gotten it done. Take a look. First half.
Blocked field goal by Trevor Johnson. And then Cedric Benson cashes in on the first touchdown. A tremendous drive led by Mike Young. The Huskers get turned away on their only serious scoring threat on the blocked field goal. And then Vince Young just breezing down the sideline, 65 yards. What a first half for Vince Young.
Pacific Life game summary as we begin the second half. Nebraska will be receiving, taken in the end zone. They'll start at their own 20-yard line. Here's our Pacific Life game summary in that first half. Dominated. Take a look at the yardage. Rushing 208 to 20. Passing yardage. The total yards, it's all Texas. And time of possession, also Texas. And even more extreme than that, really, because they scored one of their touchdowns in just a couple of plays in a matter of seconds.
3 first downs in the first half for Nebraska. When was the last time you saw that happen?
See how Nebraska answers this. Jamal Lord will carry this time. They start at the 20, and boy, did he get stood up. He still forced the play ahead, but you saw his head rock back as Johnson helped moved in on that tackle. Not a lot of room up the middle against this Texas defense.
You got to give a lot of credit to Carl Reese, the defensive coordinator for the Longhorns. His game plan has been beautiful to this point, and he's gotten great work out of his defensive backs coming up on the line of scrimmage. Nebraska, Gary, they're stubborn. They're going to continue to try to establish the run game.
See what Nebraska's done in the third. Lord, again, this is that pitch play, the option. He carries it himself. He'll be shy of the first down. Reed Boyd, the senior strong side linebacker, helping to move in.
Jamal Lord going with a healthy dose of belly option in the first half of that last play, Gary. The trap option. Lord more apt to cut it up inside on that option scheme.
Lord ran the ball 11 times in the first half, 3 yards gained. Another big third down and 2. It'll be carried for the first down and more as he gets it up over the 35-yard line before Michael Huff, the strong safety out of Irving, Texas, got him. So Nebraska gets the first down on a 7-yard gain.
And I'm not sure the term offensive leaders is appropriate right there. 2.7 yards per carry for Josh Davis. The passing game non-existent with the exception of the 42-yard hookup to Matt Harrion. And I think Matt Harrion has got to get involved here in the second half. A nice third down conversion on that last play by Jamal Lord.
See if they can keep it moving here. Jamal Lord, 2 receivers to the left side, comes back near side, looks deep, going for it all, has the man open at the 30, incomplete, underthrown. That was a touchdown in the making. Michael Griffin was able to get there at the last second.
Jamal Lord makes a huge mistake not getting this ball up a bit earlier, and this ball is severely underthrown. As we mentioned, he had a couple shots in the first half to hit Harrion. Didn't pick him up on his radar screen down the middle of the field in the first half, and Harrion was wide open. That was 6 points.
This is not a passing offense. It's not how they get it done, but it's how they've got to try and do it here. Another chance lost, second down and 10. Here's the pitch, left 35, and no tackle, just a slip. David Horn the sophomore, the eye back. He had a little room there. Could have picked up some more yardage. Just lost his footing.
And Jamal Lord, you can't get shaken. You know he's in the huddle, and he's thinking about 2 plays ago, missing the opportunity to get his team right back in this football game. They control their own destiny in the Northern Division of the Big 12. But Jamal Lord is going to have additional opportunities just by virtue of the way that Texas is playing in their defensive scheme. These defensive backs are flying up and playing the run first.
So just 1 for 5 out of the shotgun, 4 wide receivers, and another timeout. Nebraska repeatedly this afternoon in offensive chances has had to take a timeout because they haven't liked the look of the defense they come up against, and not a particularly happy head coach, Frank Solich, on the far side. Nebraska did not have good success on 3rd down conversions in that first half. They were just 1 out of 7. They need one right here. Resting comfortably, we might add. Evil. It's 3rd down and 10. Nebraska at their own 35-yard line out of the shotgun. Jamal Lord, 2 receivers to the wide side, near side. He's sacked. Fumble? No. They said he was down. No fumble. Kalen Thornton came in trying to force the play. The defensive end knocking the football away.
Jamal Lord, we mentioned he's been late getting the football up. He's also been late tucking the football. He had some room to pull the football down, maybe pick up the first down to the left side. Instead, he sticks in the pocket, waits, tries to buy time. And Kalen Thornton, the defensive end, really lays the wood to him in the pocket.
Good play by Philip Jager, who also got in there. So there's no conversion there. Larson's got to kick it again. He'll be back at his 15-yard line. Nathan Vassar will be deep, back at about the 30 for Texas, and the defense gets it done. He's averaging 58.5 in punts so far. It's another good one off. He's gotten the foot into all of them. Back at the 25-yard line. Vassar will start it there. They try and set the wall up on the near side. And we'll get back to about the 40-yard line, where Texas will start at 1st and 10. Chad Buller after a 48-yard punt, a 15-yard return. ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Pontiac. Vote for this week's ultimate Pontiac high performance play at ESPN.com/Pontiac. Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Be you, nothing's better, Dr. Pepper. And Pacific Life, offering insurance, annuities, and investments.
Texas has done a great job of executing their game plan for this Nebraska defense. Number one, they've taken care of the football, eliminated turnovers, and I think they've done a great job, Gary, handling the Nebraska blitz.
Vince Young will be back in at quarterback. They just power it off the left side. Cedric Benson, who ran so well in that first half. Benson had 13 carries for 65 yards in the first half.
Greg Davis, offensive coordinator for Texas, mentioned to us yesterday, we've got to keep those interior linemen for Nebraska nailed down. Don't let them get into the backfield. Don't let them pursue outside. Texas has done that with a very effective inside running game with Benson.
303 total yards for Texas so far in this game. Benson will keep himself, and he'll make the move up over the 35-yard line. Not a lot of running room for Vince Young right there, as Pat Ricketts came in and put the hit on. At the conclusion of today's game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Gary Thorne, David Norrie, and our crew on hand here in Austin, Texas, where, according to the BC rankings, Texas 22, Nebraska 9, but it's been Texas dominating so far in this game. You see what Young has done both in the pass and rush department. He'll work up under with one running back. Quick drop, near side completion, short of midfield and short of the first down. Just a quick drop pass. Roy Williams on the near side and never able to turn it around. Again, it was Ricketts that came in and got him. Look at these BCS standings that are presented by Allstate. There's the chase, David.
And there's a number of teams hoping that Miami or Oklahoma will slip up here in November. And Florida State, USC, and Georgia very well poised to pick up the pieces.
Nebraska very much in it, but a loss here today. It's a whole new light on that one. Richmond McGee is back to do the kicking from the 40-yard line. Josh Davis will let this one go, and it is in the end zone, so it'll be a 1st and 20 after a 51-yard punt. Can the Nebraska offense find a way? Sellout crowd here in Austin watching Texas. They've got the lead. Survival Saturday continues next. The undefeated and top-ranked Sooners host Oklahoma State. Cowboys out to ruin Oklahoma's national title hopes for a 3rd straight year. There'll be other regional action. Check your local listings for the game in your area.
Oklahoma State has come up with victories against Oklahoma the last 2 seasons, Gary. And when you talk about a threat, quarterback, tailback, and wide receiver position for an offense, I think Oklahoma State is #1 in that category.
Nebraska goes back to work. Lord, lone running back. Davis nowhere to go. Out of the I-back position, Derek Johnson read that one. 79 tackles for Johnson coming in, led Texas in tackles.
Now the aggressive play up front. Look at Derek Johnson, the All-American #11. And the quickness that he gets into the backfield, the recognition on the play, very sure tackler. And, you know, I mentioned, used the word defiant at halftime, the way Texas is playing up against the run for Nebraska. Jamal Lord has to get the ball down the field in the throwing game.
At the I-back, 2 receivers left side. They'll run the little pitch off the far side, and boy, is Texas running the game plan. Tim Crowder at left defensive end, a freshman, young ends. Texas worried about whether or not they'd be able to spread that option play out. They are.
Well, and Carl Reese said it's going to be so critical that we get games out of our defensive ends, our middle linebacker, and also our safeties. And the defensive ends have done such a great job containing Lord and tackling when their responsibility has been the pitch man.
Nebraska's staying with their run game, but it's not doing anything. 3rd and 13 now from the 17-yard line. End up with 3 receivers off the near side. Jamal Lord on a screen play. It is incomplete. Josh Davis, the intended. A punt coming up. We'll check in with John Saunders.
Gary, Purdue against Northwestern. Kyle Orton to John Standiford. Juggles it, bobbles it, hangs on to it, and then takes off and gets it inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line. That sets up Gerard Boyd. Few plays later from the 6. Takes the pitch. Good block. He's in. 27-7.
A little option of their own going right there. On the 4th down and 13, punting from about the 5 will be Kyle Larson. Larson deep. Nathan Vassar at the other side for Texas. The Texas D's done it again. Another bad snap. He's going to run it out. And not going to go anywhere at the 10-yard line. Philip Giger moved in and put the tackle on. What field position for Texas?
Kyle Larson could have gotten this punt off. He had no pressure. He initially has trouble fielding the snap, but he has room there.
He had 13 from the line of scrimmage to go for a 1st down.
Not a good decision. I think in this instance, watch him. Has trouble fielding the snap, but if he just steps up and gets the punt away, there's no pressure. Pressure was redirected behind him. Huge mistake.
Texas is doing to Nebraska what Nebraska usually does to opponents. The quick flick, Benson on the far side, trying to rein him in. Had about 3 white jerseys in front of him and 2 on each side. Trevor Johnson, the defensive end, reading that play.
Frank Solich has to be concerned. This Nebraska team, they play to their strengths, and they cannot play from behind with their offensive structure effectively. The only time they've really trailed was in that 4th quarter against Missouri. Their 1 loss on the season, and now they're looking at a 2-touchdown deficit. Texas knocking on the door again.
So 2nd and goal from the 14. Loss of about 4. That ball had been spotted inside the 10, obviously, on 1st down. The fake. Little trip carried. And we'll bring it inside the 10-yard line before Daniel Bullocks is able to put the hit on. An 8-yard gain. He continues to pile up the offensive yardage.
And that's what Vince Young can do. And Daniel Bullocks makes a heroic play, making the tackle in the open field, and still Vince Young picks up 8 yards.
Everybody talks about the feet of this youngster and how quick he is and able to react. And you watch him run, you can see why that's a discussion point.
6'6", 225 pounds.
With finesse. And you're looking into the end zone. Young trying to pass it there. Double coverage. Flag is down on the incomplete pass.
This flag may go against Nebraska, but Vince Young, it's going to go against Roy Williams. And Vince Young needs to learn as a young quarterback. You have a 2-touchdown lead. You got 3 points in your back pocket. There's not any room to fit this ball in the corner. In fact, bad structure by Texas. See the 2 receivers, Sloan Thomas, Roy Williams, canceling each other out. And I didn't see much drop a flag on that play. Roy Williams, and I think they got to let that contact go. But still, a bad decision by Vince Young. No need to take that risk.
Against the offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Hal Dowden, the referee, with the call. Obviously turned down the penalty, bring up the 4th down and goal from the 7-yard line.
Vince Young walks over to the sideline, and Mac Brown as well, taking a deep breath and saying, I'm glad we got that one back and have the opportunity to attempt the field goal here.
Mangum will come on and try and kick it. Already one field goal attempt has been blocked. 0 for 1 here in this one. This will be a 24-yard attempt by Mangum for Texas. Nebraska send their secondary up and over to try and block it. He gets it up this time, and that's through for 3. Mangum with a field goal. Texas able to get points out of it. They extend their lead 17-0. 6 years under Mac Brown here at home. Texas 30-3, trying to add to that with a 17-0 lead right now over Nebraska.
Nebraska doesn't want to get caught in a situation in the 4th quarter where they're having to put the ball in the air on every down. And it makes it so critical that they get a score here in the 3rd quarter. And I think the way they are going to get that score, Gary, and I've been harping on this a bit, but I think they've got to stretch the field and get some people downfield for big plays. Penalize Texas for the style of defense they're playing against the Nebraska run.
Let's see if Nebraska, with Josh Davis deep, can get some field position here. The punt that wasn't, and the turnover to Texas converted into 3 points. Davis again deep in the end zone, and again will not be able to run it out. Richmond McGee's been dropping them back deep, so they'll start from the 20 again. Coming up later, time permitting, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report. It'll feature scores and highlights from across the country on this Survival Saturday. John Terry, Craig will be along with that. Time permitting. Time's not permitting much right now for Nebraska. It's a now or never for their offense to get going. Couple of wide receivers. David Horn in the backfield. Jamal Lord faked the option. They're trying to go deep, looking for the big bomb play. Couldn't get it. He'll run it up and gain just a couple of yards through all of that. As Roderick Wright came over and put the hit on.
For the first time, we see Texas play a little bit softer at the safety position in the secondary on 1st down. As Texas stretches the lead to 17 points, you look from behind Lord. The safety's playing soft, no opportunity to get the ball downfield. As Texas stretches this lead, they have the luxury of playing softer in the secondary.
Lord now 16 rushes, 11 yards gained. A handoff out of the 2-man backfield. Will take it up for a 1st down. Josh Davis, their leading runner. Let's see what's going on with that big rivalry up there around the Great Lakes. John Saunders.
Follow the tight end on the left. He's going to go untouched into the backfield. John Navarre is going to find him. That's Andy Minery. Stumbles across for the touchdown, 26 yards. Michigan now leading by 17.
That's called being faked out.
Michigan State.
Michigan State has just scored. Nebraska, just their 5th first down. They get a 1st and 10 here. Carried. Lord again wanted to go deep, and he'll get sacked. That play developed way too slowly for the offense. Cedric Griffin came piling in. 3 sacks now picked up by Texas. Aaron Harris was there to help.
Yeah, Griffin arrives early, the cornerback, number 6. But watch Aaron Harris, number 2, clean up this play. The pressure from Griffin, and then Aaron Harris blitzing from that middle linebacker position really finishes the play.
Texas has made very few mistakes today in their defensive calls.
No, they've been right on, and now Nebraska really in a 9-1-1 status as the clock ticks down towards the end of this 3rd quarter.
Now Lord puts the man in motion. Mark LaFleur. The handoff will gain only. Let's see where they're going to spot it on the 2nd effort. Almost back to the original line of scrimmage. David Horn doing the carrying, averaging a little over 4 yards a game. That was a 2nd effort, and he'd been stopped, but long yardage situation.
Usually Nebraska doesn't have the pressure to make plays in the passing game. From game to game, Nebraska, we look at the rushing breakdown, usually Nebraska has success on the ground. Not this afternoon, and it's put additional pressure on Jamal Lord. When Jamal Lord has had opportunities to hit passes, he's missed them.
3rd down, 15 from the 28. Jamal Lord back in the pocket, gets rushed, gets away, just winds up and throws it to nobody. That's up for grabs, and it'll be incomplete. Woo, intended for Llewellyn, but he wasn't even close to it. Again, let's go back and get an update from John Saunders. John?
Gary, as you mentioned, Michigan State comes right back to score. That's Jeff Smoker looking for Ajim Shabai. He grabs it, and could he possibly be more wide open? I don't think so. 73 yards for the touchdown. So the Spartans now back within 10, down 20-10 here.
Green grass there.
Yeah, had to be a busted coverage, didn't it?
It'll be 4th down, 15 from the 28. Nebraska again forced to punt. Carl Larson, Nathan Vasher back. Vasher's back at about the 25-yard line. Larson this time will get the punt off at the 20. Vasher 25, 30, 35. Fine run back to about the 37 before Chad Buller moves in. 16-yard return on a 52-yard punt. Survival Saturday continues tonight. ESPN, a showdown. 2 heavyweights in the Big East. Kevin Jones and the Virginia Tech Hokies welcome Kalen Winslow Jr. and the Miami Hurricanes. It'll be in Blacksburg. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Texas has got it going their way. The score, the calls, and the domination in the running game, and credit that Texas defense. Just keep in mind the Nebraska rushing is one of the top 5 in the country coming into this game. Faked it, tries to lob one near side. That'll be incomplete. Vince Young looked right, tried to hit Williams coming back near side and overthrow him.
And it has to be frustrating for this talented group of senior receivers. We talked about the transition, younger quarterbacks. They don't have the pocket passers like Major Applewhite and Chris Sims a year ago, and not as many balls to go around. More planned throws, short throws to Roy Williams and B.J. Johnson to get him touches. But I'll tell you what, on the scoreboard, Texas leading 17-0. I don't think these wide receivers care.
Vince Young in there at quarterback. High back formation. In the pocket, steps near side and overthrows. That's what Mac Brown talked with us about, David, that he's not comfortable doing. He's not comfortable coming back into any kind of a set position, that quick drop back.
Yeah, the rhythm passing game, the 3-step drops, the 5-step drops. He's not quite, in rhythm and comfortable. As you said, Gary, he's much more comfortable. A little contact from Ricketts on Roy Williams after the ball had passed, but Vince Young on the move is very comfortable as a young passer, and whether he's on the dead sprint or just moving slightly to either side in the pocket, he tends to be very accurate as a passer.
He's 5 for 11, 31 yards, 1 interception today. Out of the shotgun, he's going to carry quarterback keeper and up field to about the 42-yard line, well short of the 1st down. And this is going to start a punting situation where Nebraska almost got a penalty. They had one of their coaches out on the field, way out on the field over there.
And that's a big difference in how Texas approaches a 3rd and long situation from a year ago. I mean, a year ago, they dropped Chris Sims back. He'd be looking down the field for B.J. Johnson or Roy Williams. This year, they're comfortable to punt the ball and live to fight another day, especially with a 17-point lead.
Corey Ross back on the kick by Richmond McGee. There's a flag down. It'll be touched, fumbled, recovered. Now we got to see what the other flag was at the other end. Texas gets it. Aaron Ross has been spectacular out there in special teams. But what was the penalty behind the play? Texas is going to get the football. Running into the kicker.
And Aaron Ross comes up with the recovery. He didn't hit the kicking foot, hit the plant foot. And Texas going to go ahead and
have to re-kick, I think, here. They were. You've got penalties at both ends. Offsetting penalties. So Mac Brown obviously upset because Texas would have had that football deep in Nebraska territory after recovering.
It's a good call, though. And you got to protect the punter on his plant foot. Texas lets a big opportunity go by the boards.
So Nebraska get the advantage there. It'll be a re-kick. So they get the specialty units back out there again. These punters have both had long kicks here. Texas trying to get their people in there. Richmond McGee standing back there and realized didn't have enough people in front of him. He wanted no part of that. He'll be kicking from his own 30. That one down the side at about the 15-yard line, and a gain of maybe 3 on that. And again, Michael Griffin moving in, put the hit on. You look back at this great series. 1999, Texas overcame a 13-3 deficit. Chris Robertson, a 1-yard plunge. Major Applewhite for the TD. Bobby Cavell was able to get it. Mike Jones in from the 17. And Texas defeated Nebraska 24-20. Would be the only loss of the season suffered. 10th time these teams have met here today. And Texas again at home with a big lead. Now their flag goes down. They did not have the markers in place. It was a false start on the part of Nebraska. Looked like incognito, the left tackle.
Cornhusker offense will start 1st and 15. Mac Brown thought he had a big turnover. Thought he was going to decline the running into the kicker. Blocking infraction, offsetting calls. Still has to love his position here. 17-0. 2 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter against one of the top 10 teams in the country.
Nebraska's running game just totally shut down. Jamal Lord carries that one. Their quarterback has not been able to find room out there. Senline in, Austin Senline, who'd been out for a couple of games with a bad foot, getting back in and making the play there. Nebraska 9 of 11 possessions have started inside their own 22, but they came into the game where they were averaging their offense starting at the 42-yard line.
Total yards. That is utter domination. 318 to 71.
4th best rushing offense in the nation. Nebraska, the Texas D up to the task. Jamal Lord, time running down. Just got that off. Pitch will bring it up for a gain of a couple of yards. Not much running room for Josh Davis again out of Loveland, Colorado. The 3-year starter is a senior, 5'11", 200-pounder. He's been called on to go wide a little bit. There just hasn't been any room.
And again, the rap on this Texas team they're soft defensively. Teams have been able to move the ball on the ground. Arkansas controlled the football game against Texas on the ground. But what a turnaround for Mac Brown and this defense. And offensively, they played with a real physical bent as well in the trenches.
Another big third down. 8 to go. Ball in the 21. Florida again back. Again the rush, and down he goes. Tripped up by Roderick Wright, who looked like he got his arm and hand in there and just dumped him.
Texas has gotten tremendous play from their down linemen this year. Tubbs, Roderick Wright. I mean, that is quickness off the snap of the football, and then a very strong left arm to bring Jamal Lord down. Jamal Lord is a big physical quarterback.
The 11th time Nebraska has lost yardage on an offensive play 11 times today. The Texas defense has gotten it done. Larson again back to kick again in the end zone. Vassar's back at about the 40 for Texas. Time to get off a line drive that's going to take a Nebraska bounce. Vassar's got it midfield, and he'll bring it down to about the 46-yard line. And we'll check in here with John Saunders. John.
Gary, it's all Iowa Hawkeyes against the Illini. Dustin Ward back to pass. Mike Roth with the hit. Bob Sanders scoops the ball up and trots into the end zone. And then on offense, Fred Russell, tiny running back. Watch a big hole, busts through it, and then fights off a couple of tackles for a touchdown. Iowa 34-0.
Going on with Illinois. Less than 2 years ago, that team was in a BCS game, Sugar Bowl against LSU.
Not anymore. It has fallen apart. Down to just 10 seconds left to go here in the quarter. Texas taking over Nebraska territory. Gain of a couple on that as Pat Ricketts came over and put the hit on Benson again. And we've completed 3 quarters here in Austin, and it's all Texas. ABC Sports presentation of college football will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Hook 'em horns, they learn it young.
The eyes of Texas are upon you, Gary.
Part of the 82,000 plus on hand here in the eyes of Texas. Frank Solich has seen enough.
His team is getting whipped up front. The athletic ability of this Texas team, offensively and defensively, has been big.
Young back looking into the middle. Caught and inside the 25-yard line, Roy Williams. One of the nation's outstanding receivers, a senior. Could have gone NFL, decided to come back.
Not a lot of room for Vince Young to slip this ball in. A little dig route over the middle. Trevor Johnson, zone blitz, defensive end dropping back into the pass coverage. A nice job by Vince Young placing that ball high on Roy Williams. Roy Williams, if you get it in the vicinity, at great hands, and usually will make the catch.
21 yards on that reception for the 1st and 10. The fake up the middle, near side Williams open. Going to try and run it a little bit. Got up to about the 15, maybe a little shy of that. Consecutive receptions there. Josh Bullock's moved in to put the tackle on Williams. Now Vince Young throwing the football deep in Nebraska territory.
And they've had great success on the ground. And now Greg Davis, the offensive coordinator, mixing in some passes, he said, Gary, and doing a nice job of it. They trust Vince Young, even with the nightmare that occurred in the first half against Oklahoma, the turnovers. They trust Vince Young to take care of the football coming into this game. He's done a great job.
Johnson wide to the left side. A couple of eye backs straight ahead. Not a lot of running room, but enough for a first down. Will Matthews. Matthews, a junior, 6'3", 250, fullback, short yardage specialist. He's been in there a couple of times today and gets the first down, 1st and 10. And it will be shy of the 10-yard line, so they can pick up another first here. They would love, talking about the coaching staff of Texas, to see Young have a chance to throw the football and get more comfortable with it under game conditions.
As he continues to develop the passing threat, the run-pass mix is going to be, it's going to be very tough for opposing defensive coordinators.
Then backfield, Young looking near side. That's going to be intercepted at the 20 and up near the 30-yard line. Josh Bullock's his 8th interception. He leads the nation in that department. So the third turnover by Texas.
And Vince Young does not account for the underneath defender. Bullock's great at jumping routes. And with that interception, he takes the national lead. As you said, Gary, 8 interceptions, tremendous hands, going to get a lot of votes for first-team All-American. And Texas had a shot to put this football game away. New life for Frank Solich and the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
2 quarterbacks we're talking there. Nebraska gets yet another chance. Lord looking deep. Finds a little room in the flats. That's going to be incomplete at the 30-yard line. Picklington the intended. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary from Austin. Can you say Texas in every category?
Texas, Texas, Texas.
Scoring, passing, rushing, and first downs. 230 to 24 the rushing yardage. That's the number that's just unbelievable. Not that Texas can get that many, but that Nebraska would be held at 24. It'll be a second down. Straight near side off the option to the 30. First down. And up to about the 44, and a late flag on the hit out of bounds, maybe. Jigger came over and put that hit on. Nope. Holding call.
Hit came a bit late out of bounds, and just a matter of whether that was a blocking infraction or a 15-yarder the other way. And Nebraska not getting a lot of breaks this afternoon.
Holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Nebraska just looks like they're going to get it started, and then something like this happens.
And here's your hold right here. Close to a tackle.
Yeah, that's holding. Right a hold of the jersey and the shoulder pads. Questioning the officials. Frank Solich over there wanting to know what happened.
I don't blame Frank. I'd want somebody to chew on the way this game is unfolding. Still, that turnover and the mistake by Vince Young, Nebraska, plenty of time.
They're trying to put the ball up in the air a little bit. Jamal Lord has tried to go deep a couple of times and has missed open receivers on fly patterns.
With the exception of that 42-yard hook up to Harrion.
Second down, 9. Looking deep again. Will throw underneath the coverage. Completed near midfield, and in fact, Fluellen able to take that ball into Texas territory. Isaiah Fluellen's come along recently. He's got the best speed, they say, of the receivers out there. He had 3 receptions, 185 yards coming in.
Yeah, and you watch Cedric Griffin honoring that speed on the outside. Fluellen comes from Germany, and a real threat as he matures as a young wide receiver in the pass game, but he's also been very effective on reverses, running the football.
Not to midfield. It's at the 46. First down and 10. Jamal Lord, they reverse it. Set the blocking up on the near side, and that will get it into Texas territory. Again, Fluellen, they tried that play before, and it did not work. Derek Johnson came over and took him down.
Taking a look at the numbers for Fluellen. If you play wide receiver at Nebraska, your numbers are never going to be as gaudy as the numbers for wide receivers at the University of Texas, known for their blocking downfield and their big playability. And I think Jamal Lord getting that pass completion a couple plays ago may get him back in rhythm.
This is only the second time Nebraska's crossed midfield, and they don't stay there for long. Boy, this Texas defense is into it. Aaron Harris has been there a number of times. He's had an exceptional day from that linebacker spot.
Yeah, and Aaron Harris has really picked it up at the middle linebacker position. Longhorns did not get solid play inside from their linebackers early in the season. They've shored up that position, and Aaron Harris has really come on.
Another big third down play. Texas team trying to get the fans up and into it. It's a third down and 4. Timeout will be taken. We'll see what Nebraska decides to do with it when we come back. Nebraska 3 for 13 in third down conversions. They have another one here. It's 3rd and 4. the Texas 48-yard line.
This might be 4 down territory.
Lord, 2 wide receivers right. Pilkington and Llewellyn. He'll take it to the near side, look deep. Got another man open and completed at the 10 and a touchdown. They connect on that one. Matt Harrion, who'd had the chance before, picks this one up on a 48-yard reception, and Nebraska's in the game.
Matt Harrion is going to victimize Michael Huff, and the coverage is not that bad. But you cannot place the flag route ball any better than that. And that is a beautiful throw from Jamal Lord, and the Huskers are right back in this football game.
Makes up with the kick, and it is good. The second touchdown for Harrion, and Nebraska desperately needed one, and desperately got one. It's 17-7. Harrion 2 catches for 90 yards and a TD today. That has quieted the stadium a bit here at the Darrell Royal Texas Memorial Stadium. Big touchdown for Nebraska. Sam Cook comes back to do the kicking. He's been sitting around watching with all that the Texas team's been doing offensively. That'll be handled. Young, 10, 20, 25. Fine return. Fumble it, but it goes out of bounds. A 27-yard return.
Taking a look back at the touchdown from the end zone view. And to the left of your screen, Harrion's going to split the defense. Man-to-man against Huff. And that ball is dropped right over his shoulder. Jamal Lord has missed some big opportunities in the passing game in this over the course of this afternoon, but he did not miss on that play.
Benson will be the lone running back. 2 receivers set out to the left side. Young comes near side. Line of scrimmage, got a carry. He'll be driven out of bounds after a gain of a couple. So Vince Young continues in at quarterback for Texas. 11:45 left to go here in the 4th. Texas up by 10. Driven out by Titus Adams.
With a 17-0 lead, Texas loosened up their play call. Started putting the ball up in the air and down in the red zone on a first down play call. Greg Davis goes with a pass play, and Vince Young, a bad decision, and all of a sudden this game turns around.
3 wide receivers out of the shotgun. Young on the handoff. Benson, he gets tackled for probably a loss of about a yard. Nebraska trying to get that back. Want to remind you, if time permits, stay tuned. The Thrifty Car Rental post-game report will be coming up, featuring scores and highlights from across the country on this Survival Saturday. But now Nebraska trying to hold it to a 3-and-out.
Play call gets a little bit tighter when the lead shrinks to 10 points. Now all of a sudden you're a little more hesitant with a redshirt freshman in the game whose strength is running the football. A little bit more hesitant to put the ball in the air.
3rd and 11. The big 3rd down play right here. Again back. Caught near the first down marker. It'll depend on the spot here at about the 39. Looks like they got it. Sloan Thomas, who's been a favorite target today, the senior on that reception, and it is a first down.
A nice job by Vince Young delivering the ball, but even a better job by Sloan Thomas getting the necessary yards for the first down. Even with the DB breaking on the football, Thomas holds his position. As a quarterback, you count on your wide receivers to get the necessary depth to move the chains.
First down and 10. Ball spotted at the 40. Out of the eye. Boy, what a battle at midfield. Benson breaking and will be knocked out of bounds. A 2nd and 3rd effort by Cedric Benson. 23-yard gain.
Now, Benson is an electrifying runner, and keep an eye on Roy Williams downfield. He's known as a pass catcher, but he wins the battle. And the pad level initially by Cedric Benson. He does not give you a lot to look at as a tackler. He gets those shoulder pads down, and one of the best inside runners in the college game.
Now Texas moving the football again at 1st and 10 from the 37 of Nebraska. Benson no time to rest. Boy, he runs hard. Rude came on to put the hit on the Nebraska backer. 78 tackles coming in to lead the team.
Cedric Benson, with all the great running backs in the history of Texas, a couple Heisman Trophy winners and Ricky Williams and Earl Campbell, but the only running back to go over 1,000 yards in his freshman and sophomore year, Cedric Benson.
He brought it down to the 32-yard line, where it will bring up a 2nd down and 5. The workhorse is at it again. Slips, gets up, moves forward for another gain. His 2nd and 3rd effort's amazing. He slipped there, nobody had hit him, so he was able to keep going.
Pretty nice lateral ability flashed here by Cedric Benson. And keeping his feet in the pocket. And it makes a difference between a 3rd and 4 call coming up and a 3rd and 1.
He's got 99 yards, Benson does, rushing, and 20 carries and a touchdown. Matthews back in. Short yardage man, not this time. Benson, that's a 1st down. And he moves it down to about the 24. Flags are down as things get a little rough out there. Edwards being pulled out of there by his teammates. 4th straight carry for Benson, and all of them have been successful.
And Brock Edwards is not happy about what was going on in the pile after that play. And if he picks up the 15-yarder, it's a crucial mistake for Texas. You never know. Goes against the Huskers. And Edwards came off the field and was very enthusiastic. He knew that he had drawn that 15-yarder from a Husker defender.
Take a look at our Chevrolet drive summary. It's pretty amazing. The last 9 possessions for Nebraska. Look where they have, or Texas rather, look where they have started. Look what they have done with the ball and the number of plays they've been able to run. The yardage picked up.
12-yard penalty, 1st down Texas at the 12.
Now it's going to be a 1st down and 10 with the ball at the 12-yard line. Nebraska's been able to settle it down a little defensively, but right now Texas is on the move again. Again, Benson at the 10 and inside, muscles his way up for a couple of yards. Bingham, Ryan Bingham, out of Utah, that nose tackle came in to put the hit on.
There's nothing more demoralizing than getting back in a football game, cutting the lead to 10 points, and then watching the opposition, Texas, control the ball on the ground. And as a defense, you want to hold serve, get the ball back in the hands of your offense. And Texas not only looking to score, but chewing up huge chunks of clock.
Benson has had 5 straight carries. He's still in there in the backfield on a 2nd down and 7. Ball at the 9. Add another to the 5, the 4, and inside. Benson is loving this. Again, Bingham put the hit on. When you're a running back like Benson, these are the moments you treasure. You want the football, and the line's blocking for you, and you're just charging downfield, now up to 110 yards.
Well, the offensive line, we saw the flash of Vince Young early in this football game, but the offensive line combined with the inside running to Cedric Benson has been a real storyline in this one.
He's out of Midland, Texas, a junior.
I think they're going to be hesitant to put the ball in the air, especially after the interception on the last possession.
3rd down and 3. Benson's in the backfield with a football towards the goal line. Touchdown! Just label that one the Cedric Benson drive. 7 straight carries. 5-yard touchdown ends it.
Tremendously satisfying for Mac Brown and this offense to line up and run it, move it down the field on the ground against a Nebraska defense.
Mangum again will be going for the extra point. And he's got it. Texas kind of at will offensively on that last drive. Right after Nebraska scored, they knew they needed it. Give it to Benson. 24-7. Benson, with his performance today, is now moved into 5th place all time on Texas's career rushing list. You see what Texas did on that one. I mean, they've made it look easy. He has played magnificent football. Yes, sir. That is you.
Just a junior.
And Nebraska, just when they thought they were back in it, sees it slip away. McGee back to do the kicking. Josh Davis back at the goal line to receive for Nebraska. As Texas looking to put the second loss of the season on to Nebraska here in Austin, Texas. Davis will be right a step inside the goal line. They need a big play. He'll try and run it out. Gets it only out to the 15-yard line. Reach moved in to help out. So did Melton. Michigan State going at it. John Saunders.
Michigan State actually was in control of this game, but John Navarre rolls and rolls right into Robert Flagg. The pop knocks the ball loose, and Clifford Dukes goes 65 yards straight into your living room with a touchdown. And Michigan State has just kicked off. They pulled within 7.
That is back to a great football game.
It figured to be. How about the comeback by Jeff Smoker, quarterback for Michigan State?
Getting it done there. Here, the Longhorns with that 24-7 lead. It has been a very long day for the offense of Nebraska. They will start here 1st and 10 on their own 15-yard line. Jamal Lord, senior quarterback, working out of the shotgun, going for some big yardage plays. A reception at about the 17-yard line. Not going to gain much on that as Michael Huff came over, and Fluellen again, the receiver on that right side. They're going to try and hurry it up with 7:06 left to go in the game.
And the tackling ability from both safeties positions for Texas, a question mark earlier in the season. Not today.
Lord's going to carry himself. He'll get the first down. Surges forward over the 30-yard line. Willem Giger moved over. The junior put the hit on there. We want to remind you that Survival Saturday is going to continue next as the undefeated and top-ranked Sooners host Oklahoma State. Cowboys out to ruin Oklahoma's national title hopes. They do so, it'd be for the 3rd straight year. That's coming up next. A 1st down and 10 with the ball at the 31-yard line. Lord again on the carry himself and fumbled the football. Flag goes down at the 35-yard line. Boyd getting up slowly. It's going to be a holding call. And Nebraska seeing their tank just emptying out here. They've been able to do very little right. Credit a lot of that to Texas. In both ways today, offensively and defensively, Texas has dominated.
And this game has been a real eye-opener, and it's going to open up some eyes across the country. Now, there's not many Saturdays when you watch Nebraska line up and just get handled physically.
On the offense, 10-yard penalty, still 1st down.
Texas has handled them physically in the trenches on both sides of the football. And the athletic talent and speed of this Texas team has just been icing on the cake.
Nebraska has not had an answer. Mac Brown telling us yesterday, David, he said if we can get that lead, it's one of the 3 big things we do in the game, because Nebraska's not a team that can come from behind, and they've not been able to. Lord again looking deep down the right side. That will be a 1st down. Not a 1st down on the long yardage play. Fluellen again was over. Fluellen's become the favorite target of Lord. Long yardage situation.
Well, and man-to-man coverage outside. He's working against one of the best cornerbacks in the Big 12, Nathan Vasher. It's a solid route. Come back out. And Jamal Lord starting to flash some more ability at quarterback and throwing the football here in the 2nd half. Ability that we did not see in the 1st half.
It's a 2nd down and 9 to go. Lord again back. 3 receivers out. Lord's under pressure. His receivers trying to get back to help him. He's just going to throw that to the crowd.
And our referee watching very carefully. Very close to dropping a flag.
Derek Johnson moving in.
And Lord has not had the ability to create in the backfield and buy time. And it's a tribute to the speed of this Texas defense. You won't see defenses across the country with much more speed than the Texas Longhorns.
Texas D has gotten it done in this game. Do not believe they were ranked overall 76th in the country. They were 6th in pass defense coming in. They've added sacks to their totals. A 3rd down and 9. Lord again back, looking to the far sideline. That will go incomplete. Intended for Harrion again on the far side, and it'll bring up a punting situation.
Texas is a man-to-man defense, and they gamble some. They'll lock up man-to-man with their talent outside. Nebraska trying to come from behind. Their wide receivers have just been gloved by this Texas secondary.
Mac Brown has got to be very happy with the performance of his entire team here in this game. 9th punt coming up for Nebraska's Kyle Larson. He's kicked the ball well. Vassar again is back. In fact, but for the punting here by Larson in this game, the score could be even higher because he's been able to get Nebraska out of some dangerous field territory situations. Another long high kick taken back at the 12. Asher trying to find a little room, avoids 1, 2 tacklers. Met head on and down at the 25-yard line, and I do mean head on. Ira Cooper. Asher with a 13-yard return off the 57-yard punt. Now Texas will come out. 5:21 left to go. They'll want to eat up some of the time on the clock. And back out there again at quarterback is going to be Vince Young.
A brief conversation on the sidelines, and I'm sure a big part of it was, hey, let's hold on to the football, secure the football, no turnovers, and let's work on that clock.
Things are getting a little squeaky out there as another flag goes down after the play. Benson, the carry, be a personal foul. Nebraska, the frustration showing through right now.
When Nebraska shows up on the playing field, they expect to dominate you, control you physically, and when they're on the other side of the stick, when they're on the other side of the ledger, doesn't sit real well with the Husker defenders, and I think that's been a big part of this after the whistle activity.
That'll create a 1st down, 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line. Nebraska is going to suffer their 2nd loss of the season here to Texas, barring a miracle comeback. They lost at Missouri, the only game they had lost this season. Benson is going to continue to pile up big yardage. He's got a shot at the 30. He'll be cut down inside the 20. What a day Cedric Benson is having. A 39-yard gain. Both short and long yardage. He is eating it up.
Now let's freeze it right here. And let's look at the seal inside here, the blocking and all sorts of room to the outside for Cedric Benson. A lot of open field. And watch him try to finish off this run. He's going to try to score. He's not going to dip out of bounds. Tries to cut inside on Ricketts and get to the end zone.
His longest run had been 20 yards this year. That's going to be his longest run now right there. Today, Chevrolet players of the game, Matt Harrion from Nebraska and Cedric Benson from Texas. In recognition of their efforts, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. 1 for the running and 1 for receiving. Benson has carried now on the last 9 Texas plays, 2 touchdowns, 158 yards in 26 carries. And that will be inside the 20. Trying to see how many times Cedric Benson can consecutively carry the football and still get up. I don't think there's a finite number on that.
And some shock on the Nebraska sideline the way this game has turned out. I guess if there's any solace to it, they still have the showdown with Kansas State on November 15th and still have a very good shot to win the Big 12 North and get into that Big 12 championship game in Kansas City.
Sure creates some interest in the Big 12, both North and South. Texas hoping to have a shot at it in the South Division. Benson out of the backfield again. A flag goes down. Gets a couple of yards. Up to about the 12-yard line on that one. It'll be a holding call, and this one is going to go against Texas. These two teams battling for just the 10th time last year in Lincoln. Roy Williams, the Texas record, 13 catches for 161 yards. Nathan Vasher, an interception off Jamal Lord. Texas snapped the Cornhuskers' 26-game home winning streak. They won it 27-24.
From 1991 to 1999, Nebraska's only 2 losses at home were both to Texas. And that football game, that flashback there, Gary, that was the largest crowd in Memorial Stadium history. Chris Sims, a huge game. He had a record 419 yards passing, 4 touchdowns.
A moment ago, Trevor Johnson had gone down, the Nebraska defensive end. While we were away, he got up, walked off the field. He had a bad knee and was limping off a little bit again. Carried to the left side, not a lot of room there, and down goes Vince Young. Fans upset about what they think are late hits. That coming at the 20-yard line. Patrick Kabongo moved in.
Vince Young slow getting up.
If there's a concern Texas has, it's about how many times he carries and how hard he runs.
Well, and he looked like he might have been reaching towards that right shoulder. And it's the way that the defenders for Nebraska finished off this tackle that upset the crowd. And they twist him over backwards after the play's finished and the whistle is blown.
Vince Young is going to come out. The booing as the replay was put up on the big scoreboard here. We have not seen Chance Mock out at quarterback here in this second half. Mock was not taking the normal routine of every third series. Now he's going to come in as Young comes out.
Young was tugging at the collar of his shirt, and I think he might have been slammed into the turf shoulder first.
That will be carried up to about the 12-yard line. Mock says, hey, I can do that. The junior quarterback into the game and carrying. There's Young on the sideline. Young has gone 14 for 163 rushing, a TD. Benson's picked up 162 yards. So combine the numbers, and you've got a couple of big runners, one being Vince Young, their quarterback. And that should be it for him for the day.
I would think so.
No reason, at least at this point, for him to have to come back in. Chance Mock. This is a 4th down and 5 with the ball at the 12-yard line. Mock to Benson. Benson wide. First down. Touchdown! Let's hear it. A 3-touchdown day, Cedric Benson.
And I really thought a classy move by Mac Brown to run the football there on 4th down. Don't tack on points, and sometimes you can't help but score. The Texas offensive line got the play blocked well on the left side. And how about the day for Cedric Benson?
He had 10 touchdowns on the season coming in. He's now got 13. Mangum again out for the extra point. And he's got that one as well. And the Longhorns of Texas putting on a show. 3 TDs for Benson. For the 3rd time this year, Cedric Benson has had a 3-touchdown day.
Yeah, the blocking has been tremendous up front, this offensive line, and he also got some great help outside.
The cannon's a little late, but it's better late than never. Handled at the goal line. up to about the 25-yard line, Josh Davis for Nebraska.
Taking a look at the touchdown from the end zone. Watch some of the blocking on the perimeter. We mentioned how tough this offensive line has been, but Bo Scaife, Will Matthews, and then on the outside, the wide receiver, B.J. Johnson. And that is great blocking on the perimeter. Cedric Benson has some people to thank over on the bench.
And he did. Nebraska gets it, first down and 10. Deep in their own territory again. Lord looking over the middle. That's going to be intercepted from the 35 to the 20. Go north, south, east, west. Flags are down. The 10, the 5, and a touchdown. Derek Johnson, if it counts. As we said, flags down back at about the 15-yard line. Derek Johnson over the middle.
Yeah, I think this was a blocking infraction against Texas during the return.
Johnson is one of the Butkus semifinalists. Came in with 3 interceptions on the day. He is a junior, 6'4", 230-pounder out of Waco, Texas.
Now we'll pick up number 11 right here and watch him flow to the outside, read the eyes of the quarterback. And that's a nice play on the interception, but how about the return? You mentioned that Bullocks, the free safety for Nebraska, will get All-American consideration. Derek Johnson will as well.
So the penalty going to move that ball back about the 30. They'll move it up rather about the 32-yard line. That's where the 1st and 10 will come.
Butkus Award semifinalist.
And deservedly so.
Nebraska, Demario Williams. That's another linebacker semifinalist for that award.
Texas trying to run that clock down up to about the 30-yard line. We're down to 1:16 left to go. Want to remind you, coming up next, 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central, ABC Sports. Top-ranked undefeated Oklahoma hosts number 14, Oklahoma State. 2 years ago, late TD in Norman, OSU won it 16-13. Last year, it was Fields connecting in a 4 TD pass afternoon. OSU 38-28 in Stillwater. And a great matchup that's been waited for a number of weeks.
It'll be interesting to see if Oklahoma State can still unleash that potent offensive attack against the Sooners defense.
Texas has begun the celebrations down on the sideline. The handoff not going to go very far. Albert Hardy, redshirt freshman at fullback. And that's going to do it here in Austin. This Texas team dominating. Cedric Benson with a 3-touchdown day. Texas's hope is that whatever happened to Vince Young that took him out of there is not serious. 484 yards offensively. And for Nebraska, it's going to be back to the drawing board after this one. Only the 10th time these teams have met. 6 of the W's have gone to Texas. 31-7 our final. ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com. Search ABC Sports. Stay tuned. We're going to be coming right back with our Thrifty Car Rental postgame report after this from our ABC stations.